And so one of the things that you're going to be asked to do is add and subtract matrices. Okay? When you add and subtract a matrix, it can only be done if your matrices are the exact same dimension. So that's the first thing that you have to realize. Okay? They have to be of like dimensions. If they're not, then you can't add or subtract them. Okay? So when you look at this first example right here, are these two matrices in the exact same dimensions? No, this is a 2 rows, 2 columns, so this is a 2 by 2. And this is 2 rows, 3 columns. A 2 by 2 and a 2 by 3 cannot be combined by adding and subtracting. Okay, so this one here, your answer would be not possible, which means you just leave your values here blank. Okay, if it is possible, like you see here, so here we have 3 rows and 2 columns, 3 rows and 2 columns. If we have the exact same dimensions, then yes, this is possible to add them. And the way that you add the entries on a matrix is you combine their corresponding locations. Okay, so entry 1, 1 and entry 1, 1 are combined to get your new value. So this value right here would be 2 plus 0, so this is 2. Next we have -5 plus 2, so -3. Next we have -5 plus 2, -3. Next we have 5 plus 4, 9, 2 plus 0, 2, and 0 plus 4, 4. Again, does everybody see? You add the entries that lie in the exact same location, okay, the same row, the same column, and you combine those. Okay? And so this is what you're looking at. They defined one matrix as capital A, they define the other as B, and when you add them, you combine their like parts. Now, if you want to, you can use a calculator for this. However, it's probably faster just to do it by hand. Okay, but if you were entering this calculation here in your calculator, again, I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can do it. Okay, first, you can just enter it as a matrix. So if I open my matrix, bracket, and then I type in my whole matrix A. So 2, comma, -5, semicolon. -5, comma, 5, semicolon. And then 2, comma, 0, close my matrix off. And then what I can do is I can add this to, and then open a new matrix. 0, comma, 2, semicolon, jumps to the next line. 2, comma, 4, semicolon, and then 0, comma, 4, oops. And then I can close off my matrix. And once I do that and hit enter, it's going to combine those for me. And it confirms 2, -3, -3, 9, 2, and 4. So again, I can see that I got it done correctly when I did it that way. All right, so that's one way you can do it. There's another way that you can do it, which we will touch on again later when we talk about scalar multiplication of matrices. And that is you can store a matrix as a variable in your calculator. Okay? The store button is this STO button right here at the bottom, right above the power, the on switch, or on button. Okay, so if you type in your full matrix, so if I type in this whole matrix, the whole value of A, and then I hit this store button, what you see is this little arrow. What that tells you is the next thing that you type is going to be the variable that this matrix is stored as. So if I then type A and hit enter, anytime now I use the letter A, it accesses this matrix. So if I just type in, oops, A and hit enter, it pulls up that exact matrix that I just entered in there. Okay? And so if I do the same thing with the other, matrix, so I'm just going to go in here. I've already entered it up here, so I'm just going to, instead of retyping it, I'm just going to pull it up. So here is my other matrix B, 0, 2, 2, 4, and 0, 4. If I hit store and I place this as B and hit enter, I now have my first matrix as A, my second matrix stored as B. Okay? And so what that means is if I now want to find what A plus B is, I can simply type in my entry A plus B, and when I hit enter, it gives me the combined values in its matrix form.